AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Player's choice. They're saying Joel Embiid is better than Patrick Ewing. His prime, his peak, whatever the hell. Pick a side. Pick a year. Shout out to Swiper. But you get a boo for this.
Peak for peak.
Keep going.
He's better than David Robinson.
Stop
Regular
going.
season?
God.
Regular season? You don't think
Stop
about better?
going.
I mean, like, he
Stop
lost
going.
it.
Nah, bro.
He should have
I'm sorry,
lost
bro.
y'all with the whole beginning.
Peak for peak, bro. Oh, chill. Am I tripping?
I mean, peak for peak, as high as it's going is 8 for me.
Not David Robinson. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
We feel like David did better than him at that.
We're not entertaining David Robinson today. We can,
Please,
No.
Sniper, like
What is your estimation of a peak, Swipe, when you talk about a peak?
He's-
How many
I
years?
think he has 4 legit years of MVP quality play.
what, 21 to now?
Yes. I think the same. It coincides with Joker and Giannis and them. I think he has 4 years where he's like best in the world talks in regular season for some people.
I think Ewing did the same thing from like 89 to like 93. He was awesome.
So who's better, 89 to 93 Ewing or the last 4 years of Joel?
I'll take 89 to 93 Ewing. Yes. As good a defender as Embiid is, I think Ewing was more of a consistent defender. I think he was a better glass cleaner. I definitely think he was a better rim protector. I'll give Joel Embiid the mid-range. Joel Embiid got a money mid-range game. But that's not to take away from how good Ewing was
a
in the
better
mid-range.
score, period, though.
Right.
Thank you.
I think
Better
that
offensive
Ewing,
play.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give you that 100%. But I think that with those 4 years with what they were doing, I think Ewing was a little bit more dominant.
Peak for peak.
Well, there we have it, folks. Joel Embiid over David Robinson and specifically Patrick Ewing.
Go ahead, Fleet. Jump right in. I already see you
Yeah.
ready. Go ahead.
No, it's just like, when adults are in the room, you got to sometimes just shut the fuck up. And when the adults start talking, you got to sometimes just shut the hell up. And big shout out to Chilltown, because every time he talks, I'm not saying all his takes are great, but there are a lot of times where I do take the time to check those guys out.
Yeah.
And for me, he is the only adult in the room that says, hey, everybody simmer down. Let's sit down. Class, sit down, and let me teach y'all something.
That's a fact.
Right? It's how it comes off. Doesn't come off cocky. It doesn't come off arrogant. It comes off real. I was there, or I'm going to back up what I'm saying. And to everything he said right there is factual. I think the thing that we get caught up with Joel Embiid is how talented that dude is. He is so damn talented at that size, right? So that just it's phenomenal to watch that dude play basketball. When he's 100% healthy, I love watching him hoop. But we talking about some of the best centers of all time. David Robinson's prime, the Admiral, if you were able to watch him different. The abilities that he had. Everything that Joel Embiid can do, D-Rob could do and more. Defensively was on another level. As Chill said, cleaning the glass, carrying the team, being reliable. I think that's the other piece too. Patrick Ewing and David Robinson's approach to basketball is way different than Joel Embiid's approach to basketball. Fuck the talent, because that don't even matter no more. How do you approach the game night in and night out? And Patrick Ewing, if they were talking about that time, 89 to 93, because I don't even think that's fair, because there's some other years during Pat's career that were great too. But okay, that sample size, 89 to 93, I think he got an NBA, I think he got a first team All NBA selection that year too. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that time, and then shit, I don't even want to talk about 89 to 93 David Robinson. Like he's insane from that time too. That's from rookie year until 93. Come on. These guys were leaders of their team. These guys were warriors. These guys, loved the game of basketball. I'm not saying Embiid didn't love it, but I don't ever question if a David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon, Dikembe Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, like those guys, I don't ever question if they love the game. I question sometimes if Embiid really gives a damn about the game. I don't care about the crying. I don't care about all of that. If you cared about the game, you will be healthy all the time. And what I mean by healthy is taking care of your weight, being in shape. A lot of the times he's getting hurt because his ass is not in shape. When you look at David Robinson, he's a motherfucking Adonis, right? He's a Greek god. When you look at that dude, it's like, oh, wow. Like, he takes care of his body. Patrick Ewing was never out of shape. Bad knees, call it what you want. But he was always ready to go. If you look at David Robinson's career, I'm sure you could find a few times where he played 82 games. If you look at Patrick Ewing's career, you could find a few times he played 82 games. These guys were gamers, man. These guys were gamers.
It's funny you say that, Flea. I was just counting that. David Robinson has 8 times that he played over 82 games.
Lord have mercy. Like
Patrick Ewing had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times he played over 82 games.
Come
and you
on.
know Joel Embiid ain't got 1 season over 70 games.
Fabian, these guys were gamers. This is the biggest difference.
Hold on, Flea, because you're cooking. I'm gonna let you finish. And let's not forget, those guys was playing 2-3 years in college.
Come on.
And David Robinson owed 2 years to the Navy.
David Robinson got drafted and didn't come into the league right after he got drafted. Right? Came into the league, won Rookie of the Year. Right? These guys, like I said, biggest difference with these guys is approach. And you know, Patrick wasn't privileged enough to win a championship. David Robinson was able to win a championship, 2 championships, but we got to stop with falling in love with talent over, you know, the full package of what these guys are as basketball players. We got to stop that shit. These guys are uber talent. I love watching the NBA right now because the guys are so talented, but we are falling in love with. I'm victim of that too sometimes. I'm not going to run from that. I'm victim of that too sometimes. But we fall in love with the talent as opposed to how hard these guys played and how great they were. Like, you want to poo-poo Clyde Drexler because of whatever. Clyde Drexler was damn good. You know what I mean? Like, for whoever does it in today's world, he was damn good. Like, we got to stop that shit. But that's where I'm at with that. Embiid is great, but you can't say he's better than those 2 guys.
Oh, boy.
So, you know, we got to take a deep breath and inhale because Flea just tore that down. Pause.
He was swinging.
I'm gonna say this.
I get tricked to talk about Patrick.
No. Me too, right? And you know, let me talk about David Robinson first, real quick, brief. So Rasheed Wallace was asked who was tougher to guard, David Robinson or Akeem Olajuwon. He said David Robinson. That's no knock on Akeem because I understood what he was saying. David Robinson was so fast, so athletic, so strong. It was almost like at that time, his footwork and his speed was like a guard. So imagine if you're a guy like Rasheed Wallace who isn't quick, who isn't physically as strong, and you got to chase that guy around, right? David Robinson deserves a whole lot more respect than people give him. Super tough, right? Let me go to my man Pat, because this is Knicks Rehab. Sorry, David Robinson, that was enough for you. Patrick Ewing in 92, my mistake. I forgot what year that was, where he averaged 29. He should have won MVP. He was on, you look it up too, y'all. I meant to send Fabian a clip. If you can look it up while we on here. He was on Mark Jackson's show. And Mark Jackson asked him, you know, how you feel about the guys today, Embiid, and are you better? And he gave the young guys props. Embiid, Joe, he said, them guys is great. He said, but, you know, let's be for real. I was good too. And, you know, just because it looks better doesn't mean it's better. I seen cars, the brand Kia plug. Some of them cars look great. They're not a better car than a Honda or a Camry. I seen some Kias that may look better than the Benz. It's not better than the Benz. Just because Joel Embiid at times his game looks better doesn't mean he's better. Flea, you knocked it out the park. Them guys played 82 games hurt. They played in the era where the big man was the dominant position. Let's not forget that. Embiid is playing, and this is no knock to Embiid. You can't help when you're born or whatever you playing. But that has to factor in sometimes. Factor meals. That has to factor in.
To factor on.
Right. Where Embiid is playing against maybe 3 dominant big men. And today, I don't even call it dominant, but we're going to throw that word out there. In that era, back in them days, Flea, that was the dominant position.
Mm-hmm.
Every night, you're going against, saying dogs is an understatement. Mm-hmm. And remember, all these guys was playing 2-3 years of college, coming straight to the league, into the fire, where they throwing bows, they throwing fists, and they mean and nasty. And the competition is at an all-time high. That has to factor in sometimes. You telling me every night you going against a Dikembe, Alonzo, and then you got the guys that wasn't offensively talented, but just defensively talented and tough and strong. You get what I'm trying to say? So for me, listen, man, Patrick Ewing deserves a whole lot of more respect.
1,000.
And I know it sounds far-fetched, but I think this is where, okay, Embiid might be more talented, but to me, who's a better basketball player? I think it's Patrick Ewing, because Chilltown, big shout to him, big shout to the whole platform. He broke it down. We kind of poo-poo rebounding, defense, energy, motor, toughness, playing 82 games, playing injured, keeping yourself in shape, being consistent. And like I said, when was the last time Patrick Ewing had a legit superstar, all-star playing next to him? Like, these guys is on teams where it's, come on, bro, Embiid right now got Paul George and Tyrese Maxey.
After having Harden.
Exactly.
After having Ben Simmons, who's a 4-time All-Star next to him when he was there. Like, cut this shit. We gotta cut this shit out.
Right. So Flea, before I pass it off to Fabian, because like I said, you flamed it. I'm just saying these things we have to think about. You're playing in a league that's not as tough, that's not as physical. There's no dominant big men. Let's be for real. Joker's not great defensively. We laugh at Rudy Gobert. The only real defensive guy that's 7 foot, that's legit, is Anthony Davis and Mitchell Robinson. You cannot name right now 10 defensive 7-footers that's legit. That time in the NBA, you could probably name 15, 16.
You had to have one. You had to have one.
You understand what I'm saying? So listen, man. Big shout out to that platform. But yeah, man, Patrick Ewing was super tough, and he led his team to 2 finals. No telling how many playoff appearances, Eastern Conference appearances, how many 6-7 game series, dog fights. Come on, man. Big shout out Patrick Ewing, Knicks Rehab. Yeah.
I did find the footage of Patrick Ewing speaking on what you touched on, AllBall.
Put the 1990 Patrick Ewing against Joker and Embiid.
With
no double.
When I was in college, I wasn't known as a scorer. I was, more of a defender. I block shots, catching lobs. It's 1990 Patrick Ewing or 1992. I think I averaged 20, 29 points a game that year. Should have been MVP. No double team. There's a free flowing. They can't stop me. I think my numbers would be just as good as theirs. I was just as athletic as Embiid. He's bigger than I was, but I could jump, I could shoot. Just didn't shoot threes. I think it would have been some great battles going against those guys because, they are very good. They are very talented, and they can do a lot of things. I take my hat off to both of them, and I love watching them play.
There you have it. Ewing gave him his props, but as every old school dude does, they put the touch on competitiveness. And Patrick Ewing, it was a long time, Flea. We were I was definitely, poo-pooing, as we say, Patrick Ewing for the finger roll and all his misgivings with the Knicks. But after some time, I was like, yo, how can you? All right, without Patrick Ewing, there is no Knicks. So number one, he carried his franchise.
Great point.
He played every season. We just ran down all these seasons. He had 80 games played. That's part of the reason why we don't care for you, Embiid. Forget the fact you kick people in the nuts and you be falling over people. You pull Mitchell Robinson's leg to the ground and you're just dirty. We never heard of Patrick Ewing being dirty. And that Georgetown Hoya training,
Oh yeah.
Like it's Ewing, Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning. That's not an accident. You didn't have that trading Embiid. You just you resort to dirty play. You resort to being a scumbag. I gotta say it. You and Draymond Green. You got all the talent in the world, and you look amazing at his peak. The Olajuwon comparisons, I get it, but you're tough. Well, I understand from the footwork, can shoot from anywhere.
From a talent perspective, but again, he'll never be Dream.
No, you don't have the you're not a tough guy. That's my biggest problem. And we know, Ewing, Oakley had a big issue with his leadership, and a lot of players would speak to that. But Ewing was still a workhorse.
He never dogged it, Fabian. He never dogged it. I never felt like, damn, Patrick Ewing is not playing hard for us right now. I grew up watching. I never ever thought there are nights that I would cry. The Knicks would have me in tears some nights, full on tears. But I never felt like Patrick was dogging it ever, whether it's a tough loss or not.
Can I make a quick point? When we have the debate, the Jordan, LeBron, Kobe debate, and people say Jordan didn't play against nobody. How people try to make that a thing. We can say the same thing about the centers today. If we want to be honest and be fair, and this is no knock Fabian on their talent or them being great, I would never say that. But just imagine every night you got to go up against Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing type guy. This is
Shaq,
that's right.
Mark Eaton,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Brad Daugherty.
Thank you. Some of the guys that they may not have been offensively talented, but defensively they're nasty and they're mean. They're your same size, just as strong. Just imagine going up against that every night.
And in college they did that.
Right. People don't talk about that enough.
Ralph Sampson.
Come on. Fleet, thank you.
Big, like centers that are like, we talk about all these talented guys. Do y'all know how talented Ralph Sampson was?
Bro,
mercy.
Today, the center position is so sweet. Teams can get away with playing small ball. You can have a 6'9" slim guy as your center today and actually win basketball games. You think you're getting away with that in the 80s and the 90s? Come on. So for me, it's like that has to play a part. We don't talk about that enough. And what those guys, Patrick Ewing, was going up against every night, where it was Hall of Fame, all-star, superstar, talented guys on the defensive end who took pride into playing defense. Them guys felt the way you get 30, 40 on them, let alone 20 and some change.
Problem.
You know what you like the thing that stuck out with what Ewing said too was like, and you're not doubling me. Like he's seeing, can you explain that, Fleet? Maybe I don't understand that enough because he's seeing it like you're not doubling me in this era. You can't. I don't care what the spacing is. I'm destroying y'all.
Here's a fun fact. The center who averaged the most during their battles against Shaquille O'Neal is Patrick Ewing.
Preach.
The center who averaged the most, let me say it again, against Shaquille O'Neal during his career is Patrick Ewing. So it just goes to show like how great Pat was. But to his point about doubling him, like you're not gonna be able to double him in today's game because of how much shooting is on the floor. If you have a guy like Patrick Ewing on the floor who is gonna get single covered by by Draymond Green, dog you. I'm gonna dog 40, 50. I've seen Patrick Ewing go get 50. Like,
a Flea, as great as the Joker is, he doesn't go nowhere in the playoffs without Murray, Porter Jr., KCP, and them guys. Give Pat a Jamal Murray. Give Pat, you give like, and this is no knock on,
No, great point. No, Embiid, how many stars has Embiid had?
Like, let's be for real. Anthony Davis, as great as he is on both ends of the floor, Pelicans, we've seen him when he had the team by himself. Even though at that time it was juggernauts with Golden State. But still, Pat put the city on his back, pause. And every year, damn near in his prime, we thought we was going to win a championship. Simple and plain. And this is with the team he had. No other real superstar or all-star next to him. And every year, we was in them playoffs fighting to damn near get to the finals. Come on, man. Come on, man. Put some respect on that man's name, man.
Yeah, all those bigs back in the day, you know, they would have had a field day in today's game. Just
I think
how good
I think you summarized it well. And we got to go back because Dom is the one. Shout out to Dom drop, but them 60s big men, they weren't that bad, and it was the big man era. The rules were pertaining to, so you had to guard somebody that the rules were for them. And I can't charge and bulldoze over anybody. The rules were not for me as an offensive player. So now in this era, who is Embiid really playing against? What's his real competition compared to the late 80s, and early 90s, where it was the land of the big man? It's not even comparable. And you know I'm big with that all ball. Jordan's ahead of his time. He didn't play them two guards that were ahead of him, but Joel Embiid didn't play these guys, man. We love Joker. Joker's getting the top 20 treatment and everything, okay. But I also do give the caveat of, did he really have the composition of a Bill Russell and a Akeem Olajuwon? We got to slow down with all this, man. I get y'all hyped up, and you got to make content, but so do we. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.